Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jefferson Ceron, and he is my co-worker of the rural teaching practice.
Hello, my name is Charlie Urquijo. We are students from the Universidad de la Amazonia. We are in fourth semester. and we belong to the English language teaching program. And today we are going to talk about the last practice, which was developed the last May 4th in the Institución Educativa Puerto Arango. So this work is presented to the Professor Graciela Porras Helves, Legislation and Contextualization Workshop Professor. So today is Jan 4th, it is 3 past 12, and we are in Florencia Caqueta, so let's start.
Okay, there are many aspects about the teaching practice. So first up, we are going to talk about the context of the place of the high school. So first up, the high school building is located from far of the settlement in Puerto Arango. For that reason, the place is surrounded by many green areas, and of course the nature in the place is awesome. Overall, the building is deteriorated by the lack of maintenance, but it doesn't avoid the performance of the classes in the high school. The classrooms are big, the professors and teachers are very kind. In fact, the principal prepared a nice welcome to us in order to give some information about the place that was very interesting. The students have uniforms such as is common in high schools. Um, the place has playgrounds, and something very interesting is that the high school has a little orchard in the back part of the institution. The institution has internet connection, computers, a school government, and a group of people who are quite committed with the high school. Um, I consider the institution is very interesting. The students are very dynamic when they are learning English, but they have some problems with the basis of the English language, of course. But I think that can improve in if the English professor, practice with them a lot. Okay, we developed the practice with the students from seventh grade in this high school. The amount of students were 24, with both men and girls. Um, we taught for 2 hours, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the classroom where we worked was so comfortable. And something very interesting was that there were many books all over the place, so the environment of the classroom was different in comparison with other schools, other high schools. And I felt very well in that class.
Okay, the day of the practice at the Puerto Arango school was very excited. We could see that the students were so polite, and at the beginning of the our practice, My coworker and I were a little nervous, but when we started the development of the our class, uh, we f- we feel so good, and because when we were developing the class, and the guys were uh, so happy because sometimes we they didn't understand what we are what we we were saying, so it was a good experience for us.
Um, okay, in other ways, um, how did I feel? Um, First up, the rural teaching practice was meaningful for me, for my teaching skills improving. Um, I could learn about the real context in the classroom from real situations. Um, so I could learn about how to apply techniques to keep the order and the attention by students. That was the most important thing that I learned. Um, Another aspect was, for example, that the students have some problems when we were talking in English, of course. So they didn't understand us when we were talking in English, when we were giving them the instructions for the activities. So for that reason, we used some techniques in order to solve that problem. For example, we used a postcard around the classroom with words, with the instructions to get the information clear. Furthermore, we used our body language too, and when we wanted to explain the instructions, we made some examples in order to get the information clear. Um, of course, in some cases, we had to talk in Spanish um, because it was completely impossible to continue without to get the information totally clear. So for that reason, we use the Spanish language in order to be clear. Um, okay, another aspect is, for example, that at the end of the class, the students were a little bit impatient and stressful, but overall, the 2 hours of the class were interesting, and um, the students said that all activities were very enjoyable for them, and they learned a little bit more than in the common classes of English. Um, that's all. Okay, at the end, of course, we could infer some conclusions about the teaching practice. For example, that of course the students have many troubles with the English learning process, but it can be improved if the professor implements some techniques along the classes for to in order to make the English learning a daily routine. Another conclusion is, for example, that the the students have problems, but in that high school, the students are so dynamic when they are learning English. So that is a good point for them. And the last one is that, for example, the teachers have the responsibility to make the English learning process more interesting and comfortable for the students. So I mean that all techniques that the professors and teachers applied in the classroom need need arrangement, and it required a lot of time to prepare the materials, the time of the class, and so on. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoy it. See you.
See you.
Okay.